and thank you for joining me for another episode of YQG in Bloom. My name is Tracy Martins, and today I am at Elite Music Studios with the owner, Lisa Shurrock. Hi,
Hello.
Lisa.
How are you?
I'm great. I'm really excited to be here because I've known the Elite family for a little over a year now through my photography studio, Shurrock Studios. We do the pictures for your
Showcase.
For the showcases. I love how you call it showcases instead of recitals.
Thank you. We do too. I had a parent one time say, I really appreciate that you showcase my kids instead of recital them. It's more fun. So.
Well, it sounds really important, and it should, because I mean they put a lot of work into it.
Yeah.
And what are the age groups?
The majority of what we do is private lessons, and it depends on the instrument. So we do piano, guitar, voice, drums, production, recording. So for piano, we can start at age 4, and for voice as well. Once you get into guitar, we start at age 6 because it's more difficult for the young kids to push down the strings on the guitar, and there's a bit of a barrier that they're going to need to get through pain-wise, which is to develop the calluses on their fingers to play guitar. So they need to be a little older, understandably, for that. And then for production, they need to be 10. Oh, and drums, they're 6 as well. So
Yeah, because I mean, I haven't seen a lot of the little ones other than, like you said, for the pianos. And you also do have older students as well.
a lot of older students. Love to see it.
They are great. It's nice to see older people enjoying music again.
Absolutely. There's so much to say about that, but from my perspective, it's really fun as the teacher, because I still teach as well, to have, a 4-year-old and then a 15-year-old and then a 70-year-old. It really keeps it fun and fresh because obviously the conversation is different and the approach is different, and that keeps it really fun for me.
And you just teach piano?
Yes.
The lady at the last showcase in June, the older lady that sang that song for her daughter,
Nicole.
I had to walk away because I started crying. It was just so sweet. She was just wonderful.
She's precious, and we love her. And I was the same. I don't think there was a dry eye in the entire house when she got up there. And I said to her, honestly, good for you for doing that, because not only are you an adult student, and adults have this weird thing about looking stupid, so we don't like to be beginners at something.
And it was a packed house that day.
It was.
Yeah.
Yeah. We as adults, we assume we're supposed to already be good at things sometimes. So it's hard to accept the idea and have the humility to be bad at something you're starting for the first time.
Yeah.
Because whether you're 10 years old or 60 years old, it doesn't matter. You still have to understand the basics. So not only is she an adult student, but she's also doing the most vulnerable instrument at all, and that's your voice.
Yes.
Right? So we're very proud of her.
How many teachers do you have?
I think we're around 13 right now.
Around 13? Yeah. And you have some amazing teachers, because a lot of them are in the music industry themselves.
That's right.
So what is your criteria for hiring a teacher?
Ooh, that's a loaded question. Having done this for a really long time, I know that I always have to go back to my values now. And our values at Elite Studios are inspiration, motivation, happiness, and fun. So if somebody fits those values, then they're a candidate, number one.
Yes.
So of course I am going to be extremely picky with their level of expertise, because we're professionals here. We're Elite Studios. We're not, the discount store, I guess you could say, for lessons. We really offer top line quality lessons here. But I tell every single one of my teachers, I don't care if Beyonce herself is in here teaching. Yeah. If she cannot follow those values, if she doesn't fit that and she can't communicate to somebody on how they can sing like she does, then it's pointless, because the whole point is being able to communicate to somebody else how you can be better. And that inspiration piece is really interesting, actually, because not only are we inspiring our students of all ages to practice, but we also are inspiring them musically, and they should want to be like us in some way, at least musically. And if that's not happening, then there's a disconnect and we need to rearrange things. So those are key things I look at above and beyond the skill level.
And that's the one thing I do notice with Elite being here for your showcases is that the teachers, like Aiden, it wasn't his day for any of his students when on the Sundays when we do the piano recitals, and he still comes. I shouldn't just say Aiden, but all the other ones, they came both days to support not only their students, but the other students as well, and the teachers, and it's a real nice family.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really
love
like
you used
that.
that word. Yeah, we call them our elite fam. So
Yeah.
whenever Taya sends out an email to everybody is, hey, elite fam, how's everybody going? And that really is how it feels here. Everybody's extremely supportive. Even the ones who are up to a professional level now, they were still a beginner.
Yeah.
And so the support level is through the roof. As long as you get up there and you just try, it doesn't matter if it's not your best performance or you forget the notes. It doesn't matter because we've literally all done it.
Now, how long have you been at this location?
We moved in here in 2017. Yeah, we got the building in February and moved in April. And then our grand opening was that June. So that's how long we've been here.
But this isn't your first location.
No, this technically is our third since we incorporated anyway.
And started at your house?
Yes. So long story short, I moved here from Kingston in January of 2013 in a huge snowstorm.
Oh, gosh.
Which insane. It was crazy. And being a Kingston girl, I'm used to snow up to here, like no problem being in the snow. This was an ice storm, and I was driving a little rear-wheel drive BMW, a little 1994 BMW, fully loaded with like all my earthly belongings. And it should take about 6 hours on the high end to get from Kingston to Windsor. And it took over 10 hours
Oh, my goodness.
to get here. And I'm like, oh my gosh, this is crazy. And I woke up and I'm like, okay, I guess I'm a Windsorite now. And I had one student, and his name was Marcus. And I had booked him when I was still in Kingston, but he didn't know I was in Kingston because I had a Kijiji ad up here in Windsor. And so I booked him and I'm like, okay, well, now what? Because I had 60 students in Kingston. Nobody knows who Lisa is here.
Yeah.
And so it was quite the journey, to say the least. But I filled up my home studio in 1 year. And I really had nothing. I didn't have a car. That's how I started driving motorcycles, which is another story. I didn't have a car. I didn't have a TV. I still don't have a TV at my house, but I have one here at Elite now. And I didn't have a dining room table, nothing. It's when you walked into my old house at 361 Lozon, it was just a little couch for people to wait on. And then the piano. And the piano is where people would typically have a living room, but for us it was the grand piano room.
Yes.
So as weird as it was very unique and exciting. Within a year and a half, we actually moved to just up the road, 1 kilometer up the road, we moved to 1086 Lozon Road. And if you know that building, it's this little tiny cube building, which used to be a transforming station on the corner of Tranby.
Okay.
Do you know the one?
Yeah, it's right by the vet clinic. Yes.
That's right. And I would have people all the time going, you have your piano business where? Because if you look at it from the outside,
Can't tell.
I even was like, I don't think you can fit a grand piano in there. So what I did is I cut out material, because we used to do this in Kingston when I worked at the grand piano store selling pianos. We had cutouts of how big the grand piano was so you could lay it on your floor and map it out for people so they could see if it fits in their house. So that's what we did there. And we ended up putting up some walls in there. And believe it or not, we fit 2 grand pianos in there in big rooms too. They were 12 foot by, I think, 10 feet. So ample space. And then just a little like coffee area and bathroom in there.
And then you moved here, and I'm assuming this is where you expanded to all the other equipment.
Good point. Yes, I was a piano purist. My team makes fun of me for being a piano purist. And I actually did get up to my grade 8 guitar in high school, but I've let it go pretty rusty. I can pick it up a little bit, but I felt the most qualified to teach piano. And I am, and that's what I went to school for and did all my teacher testing in is piano.
Yeah.
So in moving here, the idea was to put the stage in, as you can see behind you. there were a couple of reasons for that. Number one was that inspiration piece. How best to be motivated than to be able to play on a stage,
Yes.
right? Most people don't get that opportunity, especially growing up. Number two is I wanted this whole area to be able to be used for master classes and group stuff. We've done guitar workshops back here now on how to just change your strings. That would be like phase one of the guitar tech workshops. And if you wanted to go on to the next ones, you learn more in-depth things, and so on and so forth that we use this space for. But yeah, Aiden was the first person I ever interviewed for any instrument other than piano. So I was like, whew, at least I knew something in guitar. I had my grade 8. I knew what I was looking for. And he's been fantastic. He's been with us for 6 years.
He plays piano too, though.
He does.
Yes.
But guitar is his main.
Yeah. You guys probably can't see behind here. This is not a big space, but boy, oh boy, for the productions, we can pack them in here.
I know this transforms into all different things depending on what we need. So when there's a whole bunch of big equipment in here like this, it's hard to have that spatial perspective. And then we have all the regular sized chairs in here for those like, oh my gosh, how do we have like 60 chairs?
I remember
chairs in here.
the very first showcase we were getting ready to do, and we came here to take a look at it, and you or Taya were saying, oh, we fit this many people in here. I was like, where? And where are we going to stand? It's surprising. But you also have a recording studio?
Yes. So before I met you, the recording studio was another guitar room.
Okay.
And so we actually had moved the wall behind the camera here. We moved it out 4 feet. So we had more space back here, but we still, as you can see, pack it full, no problem. And now we have a big studio that we can record and do production lessons in. So that was a huge project, actually, and it was not cheap, but it's something that I wanted for years and years, and we finally pulled the trigger end of 2020. And, you know, the pandemic years, everybody's doing their projects.
Yeah.
This is the year. So, yeah, it's really cool in there. We have the window with the tri-pane glass that looks out here to the stage. And there's actually lines run to the stage so we can do live performances in here. We did have one notable band you may have heard of is a local band from LaSalle. They're called Autumn Kings.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they did Love Let Go here for their acoustic version of that. They recorded it here, the audio and the visuals here with Marty Bach from SLR Studios.
In fact, we're friends with the photographer. They rented our studio to do their still shots for those pictures.
There you go. I love it.
They're amazing. But yeah, I didn't know that you guys taught production as well until I was going over things last night. Because I know you have all of your soundproof rooms for all the various instruments, but that's great that you teach the production as well.
Yeah, so the reason that we built out the production room kind of ties in with the reason we have the stage and the reason we have the drum lessons. And it all comes back to, I guess, my vision that's influenced by all the students I've ever taught and all the teachers that have ever, you know, had a dream with me here of, and here's the dream. Everybody gets to have the opportunity to play in small bands together, no matter what their ability level is. Even if you can play one string, that's where you're at. That's your starting point. Everybody has a starting point. You get together with other instruments and you count to 4. And you start playing together. And as you get better and better, you know, maybe you'll get into one of our intermediate bands or one of our advanced bands, which would go out to the community and play here and there. So without a drummer, you can't really have a rock band, right?
True.
And even as a pianist, it's like, yeah, I can play solo all day and it's not lacking, but it's just a different experience when you get to play with a drummer and a guitarist and a vocalist. It's a different type of inspiration. And I feel like because none of us are exempt from having practice issues, every one of us has at one point had an issue practicing, right?
Oh, yeah. You just can't be bothered today. I'll do it tomorrow.
It's easy to put it off.
Yeah.
So in being a part of a band, that allows you to have that accountability from your peers instead of just us as teachers, right?
Yeah.
And it's just a different piece of the puzzle to their musical journey, right? And I feel like so many people don't get that, whether no matter what instrument you're in, being able to play solo and being able to play as a part of a band with people that you want to impress and you want to sound good as a band, you better have your part ready.
Yes.
Because our band practice is on whatever Thursday at 6 p.m. So you have until then to learn your part, or you're going to let the band down. Well, that'll get you up practicing
really quickly. And speaking of that, where you say you need all of the various parts, you just reminded me that you have quite a few of your teachers were students. And in your last showcase, Mr. Anthony on piano did Roxanne by Toto, and it sounded like every single instrument. It was incredible. I was sitting right in front of the piano, and I'm watching his hands, and it was just amazing.
I love that. Everybody always, I hear so many comments on Mr. Anthony's performance every showcase.
But you
He's so
taught
fun.
him.
I did. Yeah, I'm so proud of him. So Anthony started lessons in the old studio, the old transforming station one.
Yeah.
And he was 9 years old when he started. And I remember getting him to play for showcases, and he'd play like kind of whatever level he was at. But he started always requesting to play a rock song. That was just in him since this high. And I remember one day he came up to me and said, Lisa, or Miss Lisa, he always calls me to this day. Miss Lisa, I can't play that song because people expect me now, since I'm like the rock guy, to play a rock and roll song. And he was so little, it struck me funny. But you know what? He's taken that and run with it. Yes. And everybody looks forward to his performance now because it's always killer. And I've heard him practicing for the next one.
Oh, no.
You're going to love it.
I can't wait. Yes, because that's going to be the Christmas one.
Yes.
Oh, now how many of your former students teach here now?
Currently, we have 2.
Okay.
So there's Mr. Ethan, Mr. Anthony.
Okay.
And I have Ireland, who's up and coming. She's just not old enough.
Okay.
Yet.
Is that the one that she just passed her grade 8? Just took her test?
She's about to this summer.
Okay.
Yep. She's going to be taking her grade 8
She's
piano.
really good.
Yep. She's 14 years old. I have Sienna, who's 12 years old, and she's between grade 7 and 8. Her technical is on a grade 8, and then she's just finishing up her grade 7 repertoire. And she's 12 years old. Did you hear that?
Yes.
She's beating where I was at. So there's those 2 firecrackers. I have a couple boys who are going to be taking their grade 8 within the next year and a half or so. There's all these kids coming through, and I'm going to have to just about wait until they're old enough to teach, because at that point they'll be a grade 10 ARCT.
Well, and you have one student that sings, but also writes their own songs.
Yes.
Oh, my goodness. They were amazing.
I love to hear that.
Beautiful songs from younger people coming up with that emotion. It's a testament not just to their commitment, but the drive that you guys give them and help them to find that passion and that love and nurture it. And that's why it's elite.
Thank you. I love that. Yeah, we have a very dynamic team here, and there's a lot of different facets. So no matter what people are interested in musically, whether it's, wanting to get on the radio like that and songwrite, be the pop, rock, indie, whatever, or if they want to do classical, jazz, whatever, we really complement each other well because there's a person for each thing. And when you're talking about songwriting, well, we have Aiden, we have Taya.
Yes.
And Taya, she's got a banger of a song coming out that I'm excited for everybody to hear. She can write a song in an hour, and it's out, and it's awesome.
Doesn't shock me. She's amazing.
She is. Then we have Christian Vey, and a lot of people in this area know his music, although the last few years he's been traveling a lot. So he's only with us Tuesday and Wednesdays because he's often flying out somewhere Thursday to Monday.
Okay, and I'm going to tell you something about his commitment. In the June showcase, he actually had a recording studio in Michigan waiting on him so that they could record. Everybody was there, and he made sure he was here for his students. And at the end of every showcase, you guys also performed to show the parents, the families, and the students what you guys could do. And I love that commitment that he was here for those kids.
Yeah, that really means a lot to see
It really does.
that the teachers really want to be there here for the the students for the showcases. That is the level of commitment that makes a community thrive.
Yeah.
And that's the type of commitment that shows the students that we really care.
Yes.
Like, you guys, yes, this is our job, but we do it because we love it and we're passionate about it. So seeing Christian, that was a great example. It's a big deal when he had an entire recording studio full of people that he
and somebody
flew
here
in.
going, we have to go. He only has this much time.
'Cause they're on the
and
clock,
to see him
cha-ching.
coming back in to finish up, he's like, yeah, no, I'm here. And it was really nice to see.
Yeah, exactly. Well, thank you for saying that. And I love to see the way that we structure our showcases always goes from roughly the most beginner to the most advanced. And that way, you don't ever have to play. If you're like a grade 2, you don't have to play after a grade 9.
Yes.
Nobody wants to do that, right? Like, I don't want to have to play Twinkle Twinkle after you just played something sick. So you always feel like the best musician so far, which helps with that sense of pride.
Yeah.
But then at the very end, you get to see your teacher play. And that's something I never got to see growing up for most of my teachers. Like, that just wasn't a thing. And it struck me funny. Like, I've never seen you play. Can you even play piano, or do you just like kind of tell me what to do?
I was thinking about it when you guys were doing it the first time. I'm like, okay, this is different. But then I'm watching the looks on the students' faces and like, that's my teacher. That's my teacher.
They're proud.
They are. And I think it helps them to want to do more.
Yes.
And I see a lot of the students want to be like their teachers because a friend of mine, her son Seth, he's playing Metallica on the guitar at a showcase, and you guys allow them to play the music that they want to play, not the what's in the book.
Right. I feel like we do a really good job with meshing the two, because there's absolutely importance in going through a tried and true system that's been here for over 150 years, not just what Lisa learned in my lifetime, but accumulation of all the North American musicians for the last century and a half. It's like, there's value in that. But we go back to our values of the inspiration and the motivation. That has to be there. And if somebody's really hating their music, literally, what's the point?
Yes.
Right? You have to do the skill building. You have to do the technical part, but we try to do it in a way that's either fun or at least like, let's get it over with so that you can play that song that you really want to do. That's it.
Which is great.
Yeah.
It is great. And it keeps them coming back. And it's nice to see even new faces in the last year.
Yeah.
You guys are constantly growing. And like, do you have a certain starting and stopping time? Or
For
do they
signing
just
up,
go,
or?
throughout the year?
We take signups all year round.
Okay.
But absolutely, September is our biggest sign up back to school. I feel like that's just because of an old school mentality of what it always used to be. A lot of teachers would only allow you to sign up in September, where, you know, if somebody wants to sign up in November because that's when they got inspired, as long as we have a spot for them, of course we're going to take them. Like, let's get you going on your musical journey. But, you know, a lot of people think they can only sign up in September. So maybe we can myth bust that. You can sign up anytime.
Yes.
So, and on that train of thought, since we're in the summer months right now, I would really love to address for all of your listeners the idea of going away in the summertime.
Yes.
Listen, go have your vacation. We all need it. You need it. I need it. Everybody needs a little break, but not for 8 or 9 weeks off your instrument, because that's like working so hard in the gym to finally be in shape. And then you're like, okay, I'm going to just stop for 2 months. Don't do that, because what happens is at the beginning of September, when you come back to your instrument and you realize that you've backtracked, that's frustrating. And that creates a bit of a barrier. Right? Nobody likes to be frustrated. So now I have a negative emotion there. And that usually takes until mid-October, depending on the child and the level and all that. On average, let's say mid-October to be back where they were in June. So we've communicated really well with a lot of our families here to let them know, guys, this is what you need to do. This is what you need to know. You make your own decision. We're very flexible in the summer, but at least get as many lessons in as you can. And if you need to take off here and there for vacation, there's no penalty or anything. Take it off. Just let us know before the summer semester begins, and that's fair, and we're good to go. And by doing that, we've seen people be a lot more excited and happy and proud when they come into September, and then they do better throughout the year.
Yeah. Now, have
Right?
you had some that were the parents have said you should learn piano or do piano, but then they get in here and they see everything else and go, I want to learn guitar and switch over?
Oh, yeah.
Or do they stick with
Absolutely.
both?
My caution there is whatever you decide on, stick to it. Because if you switch one time, no problem. Maybe
Yeah.
you just realized a passion, you want to go to drums or guitar or whatever. But if you're switching to that and then switching to that and then switching to that, you're investing your time and you're investing your money. And if you continue to do that, it's just like hopping around. Yeah, I did gymnastics for 6 months and then I did soccer for a year. It's like, you're not going to be good at any of them.
Yes.
So whatever you pick, stick to it and do it until completion. Do it with excellence until it's done. Because as long as you keep going, you will get there. The more you practice, the faster you get there. But you will get there. And so, just encouraging people to just keep going. And we do have a few students that take more than one instrument here. And we can have a conversation about that too,
Oh, yeah.
because there's pros and cons. But if you don't know what instrument to start with, then we always suggest that you start with piano.
Now, one thing I did notice with a few of your students is the passion that they have, the ones that take different instruments and piano and sing, the drive in them, they're going to go far.
Yeah.
And you guys have nurtured that. And I really think that if anybody has children that have even the slightest interest in learning a musical instrument or singing, to come down and take a look at this place, because it's amazing. These pictures do not do it justice. It's just beautiful, each room. And to meet the teachers, the teachers and Lisa, you guys make this a fun space. And
Thank you.
I really do appreciate you being on the show today and sharing just a little piece of Elite for us.
Well, thank you so much for having me. It's always fun to talk about what we're up to here.
Yes. And you're going to have the Christmas showcase coming up.
That's right.
Did you announce what the theme was for that one?
Ooh, I did.
Yes. What
Yeah.
was that?
It's going to, so I don't usually announce it until a couple months before, but since we got the venue booked early and we got the theme booked early and everything, I thought, why not give people 6 months to get their costume or outfit ready, because we go all out here. So
Yes.
the theme is Old Hollywood Red Carpet.
And that's going to be here and at the church.
The church, yeah. So we do a full weekend of showcases. We do Saturday, Sunday. Saturday is always all the instruments other than piano, because we have way more piano students than any other instrument. And so for the guitar, the songwriting, the vocals, and the drums, that's all here at the studio. And we split it up between multiple showcases on the Saturday. So we deck the studio right out, as
It's
you
going
know.
to be so much fun. I can't wait to see what the kids come up with and the clothes. And
Yeah.
I know everybody was really excited about it. And I'm excited to see it again as
Yay.
well. And it's not too late to get in here and start learning the instruments
right.
for that showcase.
That's right. Yep. We don't usually start choosing our songs for the showcase until about beginning of October or so, and that gives you about 2 months to learn or so.
Oh, that's good.
And that way you're comfy and you're ready. You're not scrambling to learn your song for the showcase. So
Well, again, thank you. And I could sit here all day and chat with
I
you.
know, me too.
My name is Tracy Martins, and thank you so much for joining me for another episode of YQG in Bloom. You guys have a great day.